Dez coming at you from bcegg.com. Welcome to my kitchen. We're going to do another great recipe. It's called a blueberry Cobb salad. This is a recipe I wrote to really celebrate British Columbia. If you've never heard of a Cobb salad, look it up online. It's a very classic salad that goes back to the 1930s, invented by Mr. Cobb, owner of the Brown Derby restaurant in Hollywood. And classically, it's 7 strips of ingredients on top of some greens. And one of those strips are good old eggs. So we're going to get to it right now. And the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the dressing for the salad first, and then we'll prepare everything else. So I got some bacon that I'm just going to put on the stove here. This is 5 strips of bacon that we're going to cook until crisp. Now, if I forget to tell you some of the ingredients as we're going along, please make sure you visit bcegg.com for the full recipe. It's called the blueberry Cobb salad. Now, I wrote this recipe to celebrate British Columbia. And instead of all the classic ingredients of a Cobb salad, we're going to do it my way and have just the colors of the BC flag. So blue, red, yellow, and white. Okay? One of the classic ingredients in a Cobb salad is bacon. And the last time I checked, bacon's not blue, red, yellow, or white, it's brown. We need that flavor though in that salad to make it more of a classic Cobb salad taste. So we're going to puree the bacon into the dressing. And as soon as that bacon is crisp, we'll come up to that part next. Okay, the bacon is crisp now. I'm just going to take a slotted spoon and get out that cooked bacon and just reserve it into this bowl. And then we'll go over and make our dressing. Now you want to keep that bacon fat. That's another crucial element of this dressing. Okay, we want as much bacon flavor as we can. And we're going to use that bacon fat as part of the oil in our oil and vinegar dressing. Okay, let's reserve that bacon fat. I like to get it out of the pan so it has a chance to cool a little bit. Okay, let's make the dressing. So we're going to do it in a food processor. Can you do it in a blender? You can, you just have to understand that a blender is more vertical and it has little tiny blades at the bottom. So it needs as much liquid as possible in order to circulate everything through those little blades. A food processor is great because you can process more solid food and add the liquid as you go along or at the beginning or whatever you want. You just have to do things in a little bit different order if you're using a blender. Always remember to keep liquid going in a blender. So how we're going to start this is we have that bacon that we've cooked up and 1 clove of garlic. We're going to put that in there. And just those 2 ingredients at first. We're going to process this. That's about 30 seconds to a minute. You want every fine little bit. What I want you to do, take a big sniff because man, raw garlic and bacon, it's incredible to the nose. It's amazing to smell that. So let's go through and add all the rest of the ingredients to make this dressing complete. Next is our bacon fat that we reserved. Let's put that in there. 1/4 cup red wine vinegar. 1 tablespoon of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Worcestershire sauce. Sugar. Salt. Pepper. And some dry mustard. That dry mustard is going to be our emulsifier. It's going to help keep the dressing together. Okay? Let's process this so everything's combined. Now our last ingredient is 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil. In order for this to become emulsified in here completely, we're just going to keep it running and drizzle this in really slow. We are done our dressing. Let's set this to the side and let's work on our salad ingredients. The first item you want to have are 2 hearts of romaine. Okay, I want to show you a great tip on how to clean these really efficiently. I have a fairly deep amount of cold water in my sink, and I'm just going to cut the romaine without cutting the core of the romaine. So make a cut in it, turn it a 1/4 turn, and make another cut. And then just past that last cut, you're going to make 1 more on this side, 1 more on this side. And then go through and just cut like 1-inch pieces and just flick it into that water. You want to have deep water so that when you're washing your lettuce, all the dirt and foreign substances, if there are any, sink to the bottom. When you're done and you have the core, just trim the core around to get every part of the romaine into the sink, and you have your core, and that's going to go in the compost. I'll do this other one. Then all I want you to do is just massage it a little bit and just agitate the salad, and all the, like I say, all the dirt and everything else will fall to the bottom. Let it come back up to the surface. You need a salad spinner. You want to make sure that your lettuce is completely dry. Well, as dry as you can anyway, so that you're not adding a whole bunch of flavorless water and blanding out your salad. So we're just going to take it now and place it in the basket of our salad spinner. Just grabbing the lettuce from the top of the water and let's spin dry it. And I'll show you just how much water comes out of that. Look at that. We'll do it one more time just to be safe. Okay, we have some cutting to do. Let's start with our hard-boiled, incredible BC eggs. If you don't know how to hard-boil an egg, or you need some tips on peeling a hard-boiled egg, you can check out my tips video at bcegg.com as well. All we're going to do is we're just going to chop these. Okay, but I'm just going to cut them into quarters first. It makes it a bit easier, and then just rough chop them, yolks and whites all together. Okay, and let's add that back to the bowl. We'll set that aside. The next ingredient we want to prepare, we want some little strips of red bell pepper. So when cutting a bell pepper, this is what I do. I treat it as if it was a cube, and I cut off the 4 sides right before it starts to curve. There's 3, there's 4. I cut off the bottom of the cube, and then I plunge the knife just by where the stem is, and you get the top of the cube. This leaves all the seeds, the white membrane right there, easy to put in the compost. There's not a seed on the board, and you're left with lots of great flat pieces to work with. Here's what we want to do. We want about a cup's worth of these pepper strips, but I want them short. I don't want them very long. So we're going to cut each slice in half and then make these little strips of bell pepper. And we'll keep adding them to our measuring cup until we have a cup's worth. All right, we're there. We have a cup's worth. Okay, next we want to do our cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. So what I want you to do is I want you to quarter them. Cut them in half, and then cut them in quarters like that, and go all the way through and do that with every single one. We have our tomatoes ready to go. Normally I would assemble this on a platter, but because June is picnic month for BC Egg, we're going to show you how to pack this for a picnic. So I'm going to use a container like so. You want a rectangular container. And how we're going to start this is you want to have your cut wash romaine first in the bottom. Remember, we want to see only the strips of the 7 ingredients that are going to resemble the colors of the BC flag. So a nice bed of romaine at the bottom. Start with your blueberries at either end. So your 1 cup of blueberries on one end, and the other cup on the opposite end. Then we're going to work our way from left to right. Next ingredient I want you to do is your corn. So we have 1 cup of canned corn that's been drained. If it's corn season, use fresh corn. Bell pepper, crumbled blue cheese. Now if you don't like crumbled blue cheese, you can use crumbled feta cheese instead. Okay, but blue cheese is a very classic ingredient for a Cobb salad. Let's do that one now. Next, we have our cherry tomatoes, and now our hard-boiled BC eggs. What a presentation. You bring this to a picnic, unveil it by taking off the lid, people will be like, wow, that's incredible. The last thing we need to do is dress the whole thing. So if you are taking to a picnic, I advise you putting the dressing separate in a container like that, so you can put both of these in your cooler, bring them both out, let everybody ooh and ah at the appearance of this salad before you dress it. But let's dress it next, okay? So I still have the dressing in my food processor. I'm gonna go ahead and dress it just to show you what it looks like after it's dressed. It still looks amazing, but again, you wanna give your guests, your family, whoever, the opportunity to look at the salad before it's dressed. And then all I want you to do is just drizzle that bacon dressing all across the salad. And even with the dressing on top, man, it sure looks beautiful. And there you have it, my blueberry Cobb salad. You can check it out at bcegg.com for this recipe and a bunch of other great ones. And make sure you make this summer, because it's amazing, I'm telling you. Thanks very much. Where are you getting your protein from?